Okay, hi everybody. Let me give you a little bit of information on stock photography and what I mean by that. I've discussed it a little bit throughout the semester, but I want to get into a little bit more detail about this now. First of all, I've given you a link to several sites where you can go to get free images that are royalty free, meaning you can use them, you have permission to use them. You will not get sued or anything like that for using them, and they are also free. Okay, now there's a lot of stock photography that's not free, and let me show you some of that, because the stuff that's in iStock Photo, most of this is not free. But what is stock photography anyway? Stock photography is general, very generic, very professionally taken pictures that people might need to use in illustrations for advertisements, articles, um, just anything like this. And so sometimes it would be very expensive, like say you're trying to advertise a product that people might use when they're hiking in the mountains, and you need to have a picture of a person using this product, or a person at least hiking in the mountains, and you don't really have the budget to hire a camera crew, book the flights, take the time that it takes to go traipsing up the mountain, set everything up, set up all your lights, get your models and your actors in place, and all of that. That's just ridiculous. That would cost thousands and thousands of dollars, and lots of time that you probably do not have, when any old picture of people walking around in the mountains would be just fine. But it needs to be professional. It needs to be a professional picture, right? So you might go to a stock photography place, and this one says nature. Well, I need a picture of mountains. Well, none of these are really. Here we go. Here's some people hiking. If that's not specific enough, I can do a little search, and I can say hiking in the mountains. Somewhere I can enter a search in there. I don't know where. Refine. Okay, well, somewhere on there I can enter a search, but I don't want to spend too much time looking for it. But you can see that these pictures are very professionally done. They're beautiful. They're nicely edited. They're a little bit they're so nice that they're kind of unrealistic. They're almost so generic that you're just kind of like, right? But look, if I wanted to use this image and I wanted to download it, I'd have to pay for it. And actually $12 is not that bad, but I do not want you paying for that when there are plenty of images out there. But notice, if you will, that to keep you from just stealing this image, do you see the watermark here where it says iStock? And you probably have seen these already on some really cool pictures when you were looking at Google Images, and oh, I want to use this picture, and it's got this big watermark on it. Well, you can't get a file without the watermark in high resolution until you either pay them the $12 for the image, or sign up for your subscription, which, if you're, was really $10 a month for or, well, no, I guess it's 10 images a month for $40 or something. That's not so bad, but still, student budget, no, we don't want to do this. But a lot of times what they also do is they have the image available in a number of sizes, and so the larger the resolution, the higher the resolution, the more expensive it is. Look at this one. It's a 300 dots per inch for a 17 by 11 inch printout 5,184 pixels by 3,456 pixels. That's a nice big high resolution image. Okay, you're not going to find something like that big on on Google Images, but I'm showing you these paid ones just because I wanted you to understand the concept of stock photography. And you know, one thing that is very true about them, yes, they're beautifully done, yes, they're professional, but you know, as you can see, they are very generic, right? They're kind of they don't have a whole lot of, they're not very realistic, I guess I should say. But if you needed a picture of a whale, you know, and you can't just go off to SeaWorld and hope that the whales are going to be on display that day, and you know they're not even going to be in their regular habitat, you know, what are you going to do, right? So Morguefile, this has a lot of free photographs here, and it's kind of hit or miss. And what usually what they do with a Morguefile is it's images that have already been used once, and are no longer needed. And so instead of just keeping them locked away forever and ever, they just instead of keeping them locked in forever and ever, they just make them available to people. Okay, and so you need to create an account for all of these. A lot of them you can just do it with your Facebook if you have a Facebook account. How do I get out of here now that I'm logged in? Am I logged in? Okay, I'm trying to find, let's say I want a picture of a whale. Okay, and you know, it's going to be hit or miss with the free stuff. Sometimes the quality's not that great. Sometimes I can't really get a picture of what I want. Sometimes I think some of these images aren't even professionally done. You know, but you might get lucky, you might not, but I can see you using this for your next for your next couple of assignments where you are going to be incorporating some professional images in with some text, you know, to make some professional looking you know, like a movie poster. You're going to be doing a movie poster, and you're going to be doing kind of a campaign. There's Flipper there. Okay, so Morguefile is pretty good. The thing that's nice about something like this is you can, you know, enter something specific. Yeah, let's try biking. Why not? Okay, you know. There we go. Enter something specific, and you might get what you're looking for. You might not, but you might. Okay, and chances are on Morguefile it'll be free, and if it's not, go someplace else. Okay, do not pay. DeviantArt, I want to warn you about this one. A lot of the times these are not professional. A lot of times they are, but a lot of these are images that people have already photoshopped. A lot of these are images that people have painted or drawn. You can't use those. You can only use images that are photographic and that haven't been edited. You couldn't use this, for example. And a lot of the time the people might even have a they might even have some specifications about what their criteria are. I don't use this one a whole lot myself, but you probably just want to look around, and if there's a picture on there that you like, you might want to just kind of look at that person's profile and make sure that you don't have to ask that person for permission to use their work, because that may be the case. I really am not a big fan of DeviantArt, but sometimes there is a tremendous amount of diversity there. Free stock photos, this one is also kind of hit or miss. It looks like it's got a whole bunch of stuff. And so, you know, Sometimes it does. You know, I guess I just haven't gotten into that one all that much. This one that I have labeled NASA images, it's actually at some point in time it became the more of a U.S. Defense Department thing. I'm not sure exactly what. Most of the things that I found in here are military, but you know, one of the things I did was I just went in. You can see there's the helicopters from one of the pictures that I took. Um, you know, I just went in and kind of started flipping around, and that can always be fun. And the reason I went into this one and the Hubble one is because there's some good backgrounds, you know, and also there's some good foregrounds. You know, there's people doing stuff. This is the site where I got the picture of the woman doing the crunches. And so, you know, if you want to get pictures of boats and planes and stuff like that, this is a really good one to go to. You have to just kind of be patient. Um, but there's a lot of narrative going on in these already, you know, so I could see these just really getting you set up for an interesting storyline if you wanted it to. But this NASA one used to have all these like Hubble space pictures, and that's really what I wanted. And then I found this Hubble site, and this is cool. This is the cool stuff. Okay, so this is where all the nebula and the, you know, exploding stars, and I don't know what any of these things are called, but a lot of these are beautiful, beautiful pictures that have, you know, been taken, I guess, over the last 40, 50 years of outer space by, you know, that are NASA images. And why are these free? Because these are, your taxpayer dollars are already paying for this. There's also a I need to get you guys another link. Because speaking of taxpayer dollars, there's a link to an archives at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington D.C. that I believe you can have free access to as well. You know, anything governmental. You should, if it's posted and it's out there, you should be able to download a high resolution image of it and not have to pay anything because you've been paying for it out of your taxes all along. So the Hubble site's pretty cool. And then finally, I got all excited because about a year or two ago, the New York Public Library finally made available just thousands and thousands and thousands of historical photographs. There's so many I haven't even had a chance to really dig through them yet. But I mean, if tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of pictures that you can download for free. And I would assume that it's incredibly diverse. Most of what I've seen on here is black and white and kind of historical, but I think that's just because there is so much historical stuff, because clearly there's color stuff on there as well. So, you know, I just don't think you need to be going into Google Images and saying, oh, I couldn't find anything. And don't forget, you can also use your camera. You can also take your own pictures as well. But I cannot emphasize enough the seriousness of copyright laws and the stealing of images and what could happen to you if you were to use somebody else's image and you put it out there, and once something's out there, it's out there, you know, and it does happen all the time. It's very easy for people to do image searches now, and people are doing it all the time. And if they see that you have used one of their images, look out, because if they're powerful and have money and have lawyers, you're not going to win. Okay, it's just not worth it, and it's rude. It's rude and it's disrespectful. A lot of people are not even professionals; they're just regular people. You know, putting their stuff out there on Flickr. Ask. You know, a lot of them will just ask them. and they might have a little disclaimer down at the bottom. You can use my stuff if it's not for commercial purposes, and and you asked me for permission or whatever, but ask before you take unless it's offered for free. Okay, that's what I had to say about that. Okay, so hopefully it sunk in.